Feel the palpable chill as we dissect meticulously reported incidents from the Lizzie Borden house, a location synonymous with one of America's most notorious unsolved crimes. Our investigation focuses on why specific encounters here are considered exceptionally credible, even by those initially skeptical. We will present the chilling historical context of the 1892 murders. Then we'll explore compelling witness accounts, like objects moving inexplicably or an impossible phone call. Each detail will be scrutinized for its strangeness and its profound connection to the house's tragic history. Prepare to analyze the evidence and decide for yourself. The crime that forged a haunting. The chilling rhyme about Lizzie Borden belies the brutal facts of August 4, 1892, which forged the Lizzie Borden house's dark reputation. In Fall River, Massachusetts, Andrew Borden, a wealthy but notoriously frugal businessman, lived at 92 2nd Street. His household included his second wife, Abby, and adult daughters, Emma and Lizzie. Emma was conveniently out of town during the murders. The home, shared with maid Bridget Sullivan, was tense. Disputes over Andrew's finances and property transfers to Abby's family angered the daughters. The family had also recently endured a mysterious stomach illness. Despite Andrew's wealth, an example of his frugality was the house lacked modern indoor plumbing connected to the city system, instead relying on a privy. This environment of discomfort and resentment set a grim stage. The horror began mid-morning. Between 9:00 a.m. and 9:30 a.m., Abby Borden went to the upstairs guest room to make the bed. While engaged in this task, she was viciously attacked from behind with a hatchet-like weapon. She suffered 19 blows, primarily to the back of her head, crushing her skull. Maid Bridget Sullivan, who had been washing windows outside then resting indoors due to illness, testified she heard no struggle, suggesting a swift, unexpected assault. Abby's body was found lying face down in blood between the bed and a dresser. Andrew Borden returned from his morning business around 10:30 a.m., also feeling unwell. Lizzie stated she greeted him, helped with his coat, and told him Abby had received a note and left to visit a sick friend, a claim investigators could never verify, as no note or expectant friend materialized. Andrew then lay on the sitting room sofa for a nap. About 90 minutes to 2 hours after Abby's murder, Andrew was also attacked as he slept. He sustained 10 or 11 hatchet blows to his head, causing horrific facial mutilation, including one eye being bisected. During this time frame, Lizzie claimed she was in the barn loft for 20-30 minutes, searching for lead fishing sinkers. Around 11:10 a.m., Lizzie called to Bridget. "Maggie, come quick, Father's dead. Somebody came in and killed him." Lizzie's composure following her father's discovery struck witnesses as unusually calm. Her statements about her whereabouts during the murder window were inconsistent and changed upon police questioning. While she maintained she was in the barn, specific details shifted. The story of Abby's summons via note remained highly doubtful. The police investigation initiated that day noted no signs of forced entry, pointing to a perpetrator already inside or let in. A search yielded several axes in the basement. One hatchet head, missing its handle and appearing recently wiped clean, became suspicious evidence, considered by some the murder weapon. Adding to suspicion, days later, friend Alice Russell saw Lizzie burn a blue dress in the kitchen stove, which Lizzie claimed was merely old and paint-stained. Lizzie Borden was arrested on August 11th. Her trial in New Bedford in June 1893 captivated the nation. The prosecution's case was circumstantial, focusing on her conflicting statements, her attempt to buy prussic acid the day before the murders, and the dress burning. They argued Lizzie had motive, citing family financial disputes and animosity towards Abby and clear opportunity. However, the prosecution lacked definitive forensic evidence. Crucially, no blood was found on Lizzie or her clothes immediately after the brutal attacks, a point her defense heavily emphasized. Led by former Massachusetts Governor George D. Robinson, the defense portrayed Lizzie as a gentle, church-going woman incapable of such violence. After only an hour of deliberation, the all-male jury acquitted Lizzie. Public opinion, however, remained largely convinced of her guilt. She lived under this shadow until her death. The gruesome, intimate nature of the slayings, 2 people killed in their home, likely by someone known to them, and the acquittal of the only suspect, meant the murders were never officially solved. The question of what actually happened at the Lizzie Borden house in 1892 created an enduring mystery. This brutal, unresolved double homicide left an indelible mark on the house, fostering a potent legacy of unanswered questions and becoming fertile ground for decades of paranormal speculation. The violent events of that August morning are not just historical. Many who have entered 92 2nd Street believe the traumatic energy from these crimes actively permeates the very structure and atmosphere of the building today. Echoes of violence, the paranormal claims. With such a violent and unresolved 1892 murders provide a potent historical backdrop. But the Lizzie Borden house's reputation extends into persistent paranormal claims. Are these merely fleeting stories amplified by its dark past? Or do recurring experiences from credible witnesses suggest something more profound? The house, now a B&B and museum, sees both staff and overnight guests frequently report inexplicable phenomena, solidifying its chilling reputation. Specific, consistent details in these reports demand closer scrutiny. Suzanne St. John, who has served as both a realtor involved with the property and a dedicated long-term tour guide, has cataloged several first-hand experiences. For example, children's toys, specifically marbles, which staff meticulously ensured were always neatly arranged in a designated spot, were later discovered scattered across the floor in one of the children's former rooms. This unsettling discovery occurred after the room had been confirmed empty and securely locked, meaning no one physically had access. St. John also personally witnessed a framed picture resting on a mantelpiece inexplicably slide several inches without any discernible cause, such as vibrations or drafts. These seemingly minor occurrences accumulate significant credibility for several key reasons. Their notable consistency is a major factor. These are not isolated, easily dismissed events, but rather distinct patterns of activity reported over extended periods by different individuals. The reliability of the witnesses, particularly long-term staff like Suzanne St. John, lends substantial weight. Individuals working in the house daily for years develop an acute understanding of its normal ambient conditions, making unusual deviations more noticeable. Critically, these subtle phenomena often manifest in specific locations within the house historically and directly linked to the Borden family and the tragic events of 1892. Beyond displaced objects, one of the most chilling and highly specific phenomena reported from the Lizzie Borden house involves an unexpected shared physical manifestation. Numerous, unrelated guests and several staff members have recounted experiencing a sudden, sharp, and inexplicable pain, specifically in their left eye. This sensation is often described as intense and piercing, appearing without any prior discomfort or discernible medical reason, and then typically subsiding just as mysteriously. What makes this particular report even more startling is its timing. These experiences are frequently noted on or directly around August 4th, the anniversary of the murders. The pain is consistently localized, a detail that directly mirrors one of Andrew Borden's documented fatal injuries. This particular shared physical experience, the sudden pain in the left eye, is considered exceptionally compelling by paranormal investigators and researchers. Its considerable credibility stems directly from the precise correlation it establishes between a contemporary sensory experience, felt by multiple, often unconnected individuals, and a verified specific historical detail of the violent crime that defines the location. unlike general feelings of cold spots or unease. This reported pain is distinct, localized, and directly reflects one of Andrew Borden's most grotesque injuries, where his left eyeball was noted in the autopsy as being cleanly split by a hatchet blow. That individuals with no prior detailed knowledge of these specific autopsy reports have reported this exact sensation adds another layer of profound intrigue. Perhaps one of the most profoundly unsettling and widely discussed accounts to emerge from the Lizzie Borden house involves a technological anomaly coupled with immense personal significance for the witness. This well-documented incident concerns a female guest whose personal cell phone rang during her overnight stay. Upon checking the device, the caller ID clearly displayed both the name and registered phone number of her own mother. The profound shock for this guest was immediate and overwhelming, stemming from the undeniable fact her mother had been deceased for 2 years. Despite this impossibility, the phone continued to ring, showing her deceased mother's contact information. The guest, understandably shaken, reportedly answered the call and distinctly heard what she recognized as her mother's voice on the other end of the line, before the connection was precipitously lost. This type of impossible communication event is exceptionally difficult to dismiss rationally due to several converging factors that highlight its high strangeness. Firstly, there is the technological anomaly itself. How does a cellular network operating on established protocols facilitate a call that appears to originate from the phone number of a deceased individual, complete with accurate caller ID information validated by the witness? No conventional explanation, such as simple misdialing, caller ID spoofing by a known prankster, or a common technical glitch, readily accounts for the intimate and specific nature of the apparition appearing on the device and the subsequent voice. The deeply personal and emotional connection for the witness further complicates any attempt at a simple rationalization. These detailed accounts, ranging from the subtle yet persistent movement of inexplicably displaced children's toys and sliding picture frames through unsettling auditory experiences frequently reported, to the very specific, historically resonant physical sensation of eye pain mirroring Andrew Borden's fatal wound, and culminating in technologically impossible communications, such as a deeply personal call from a deceased relative, collectively move far beyond typical anecdotal ghost stories. They offer layers of specific detail, often involve multiple unrelated witnesses, and include elements like the corroborative testimony of long-term staff. These factors challenge easy explanations and significantly contribute to the Lizzie Borden house's terrifying and credible reputation. The persistent question, therefore, remains: are these diverse manifestations simply the psychological echoes of a house saturated in a brutal past? Or could they represent something else entirely? Something that current science has yet to adequately explain or even truly comprehend? In conclusion, the Lizzie Borden house marks a stark intersection of brutal history and persistent, unexplained phenomena, forcing a confrontation with our understanding regarding trauma, memory, and the possible echoes of the past. The unsolved 1892 axe murders of Andrew and Abby Borden established this chilling legacy. As paranormal investigator Teresa Argy noted, such a vein of violence from a brutal history might explain why a place could be haunted, reinforcing the theme of trauma's lasting impact. Our exploration of the accounts from this B&B and museum site considered these chilling possibilities. Do these echoes of the past, intertwined with memory and trauma, suggest a deeper, unexplainable truth? What truly haunts 92 2nd Street?